is once you have completed your studies, now you are eligible to get a regular work permit. I know that a lot of students, usually when you study in Canada, you also have a work permit associated with your student permit, but this is not a worker status. You're still a student. That's why immigration, once you are graduating, you're eligible to switch your status from a student to a worker with the PGWP. Remember that the PGWP, you have only 180 days to apply for it. So if you apply after 180 days, you're not going to get it. And this is something that is, I mean, it's your right to have it. And it's actually a great opportunity for you to have. So don't forget to apply within the 180 days. At the same time, now they changed the process. You cannot go to the border anymore or the port of entry anymore to apply for your PGWP. You have to do it online. Remember that what you need to apply will be as soon as you complete your studies, you need your completion letter, your transcript, and prove that you've been studying full time. You submit all of that with your PGWP application, and you'll be able to get it. Usually, you will get it for the length of your program. So, mostly for masters, you can have it up to 3 years. It is a one-time opportunity. So remember, if you're missing that deadline to apply within 180 days, you're not going to get it. And it's a great opportunity because, again, it allows you to work for 1 year. And then after that, being able to apply for PR. A little reminder, because unfortunately, we see a lot of students, a lot of clients that come, international students that apply for the PGWP. And then after that, they want to apply for permanent residency in Canada. Remember, once you have the PGWP, it's to give you an opportunity to work for at least 1 year and build your Canadian experience. With that Canadian experience, you can apply for permanent residency. So once you have the PGWP, don't waste your time working positions or jobs that are not skilled positions. Basically, I would say if you have the PGWP, don't work as a server, for example, or a waiter. I'm not saying it's bad position, but it's not going to help you if you want to apply for permanent residency. So use that, use your PGWP to work a skill position. So then you can move on and apply for permanent residence. All right. So again, the PGWP will allow you to build your Canadian experience. So keep in mind that when you are applying for the PGWP, as soon as you submit your application, and you are working a skill position, you are building your Canadian experience. So you don't need to have the physical work permit in your hand to build your Canadian experience. As soon as you submit it, you are building your Canadian experience. To apply for permanent residency, remember you only need 1 year. So that means 12 months and the minimum of hours, which is 30 hours per week, to be able to get your Canadian experience. At the same time also, so if you want to apply for permanent residency, remember that PR is a point system. So most of you graduates, I'm pretty sure you must be ideal candidate to apply for permanent residency even without the Canadian experience. So you don't need to wait until you have a Canadian experience to apply for PR. My advice would be to always try to get into the Express Entry pool as soon as possible because it's a point system. So maybe you have enough points right now to actually apply for permanent residency while you work in Canada and wait for your PR. All right, so I'm going to explain to you now that, you apply for PGWP. What are your options if you want to apply for permanent residency? Of course, I'm pretty sure most of you know about Express Entry, which is the main popular program to apply for permanent residency in Canada. Express Entry is a federal program. So in Canada, we have the federal and we have provinces. The federal will be the only entity that's going to approve or refuse your permanent residency. With that, the federal immigration created a program that is called Express Entry. So the name says it very well. Before Express Entry, when you wanted to apply for PR, you have to do an application, submit it, and it will take maybe, I would say like 3, 4, 5 years before you can get a decision. With Express Entry, as the name indicates, immigration has a mandate to reach a decision within 6 months. I would say right now, with the backlog that they have, you'll take immigration is a case by case, so it can take 6 to 8 months, but it's actually way faster as how it used to be before. So Express Entry, you're going to be eligible under Express Entry, it's a point system. So you're going to be assessed based on your age, your level of education, your ability in English or French. If you've been working in Canada for 1 year, you get extra points. If you have siblings in Canada that are Canadian or permanent residents, you get extra points. The education, you're going to be assessed on that, and the work experience. The work experience has to be a skilled position. Again, usually for skilled position, for immigration, we talk about the tier between tier 0 to tier 3. And yes, you also need to show proof of funds depending on the category you're going to be invited. So if you've been working 1 year in Canada and you apply for permanent residency, you don't need to show proof of funds. So even if you have like $1 in your bank account, it doesn't matter. So that's actually a very good way to apply for PR. So we talked about the federal. So now we're going to talk also, I'm going to explain to you about the PNPs. And I know a lot of you maybe have heard about the BC PNP International Graduate stream. So I'm going to explain a little bit on that. So Express Entry, like I said, is the federal. The provinces also have their own way in Canada to nominate their own immigrants. Basically, what they are saying to immigration, so each province will have their own requirements, and they're going to tell immigration, the government, that we need those type of candidate because we have a shortage of labor in our province, for example. And we have a shortage, or let's say we have a shortage of carpenters. So they want to nominate lots of carpenters. Or we have a shortage of, I don't know, people, manager, for example, business manager. So based on that, what's going to happen? The provinces will have their own requirements. They will assess candidates based on the requirements. And if they nominate you, you're going to get a certificate of nomination. And with that certificate, you're going to be able to apply for permanent residency. Either you are under the Express Entry stream, so that means you're going to get 600 points. That's going to go into your Express Entry profile. And with that, that guarantees you an invitation to apply. Or you're going to be eligible, if you're not eligible under Express Entry, to apply through the PNP portal. Each province, like I'd say, like for example, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, BC, they will have their own requirement. But for today, because you are in BC, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about BC PNP for international graduates. Basically what you need, so BC, the provinces of BC is employer driven. So that means you need to have a job offer from a Canadian employer to be eligible to apply for under that stream. With that job offer, then the position has to be a skilled position. Also, the employer has to be an eligible employer. So that means the business has to be registered in BC and they must have at least 5 full-time employees. Usually, most of the business are registered in BC. The 5 full-time employees is a little bit tricky sometimes, but there's ways to work around that. The most important thing that you need to remember is to get the job offer. With the job offer, if it's a skilled position, then you can enter the BC PNP pool. And if you have an invitation, you will submit your application to the BC PNP office. They will process it. If everything checks out well, then you'll get either 600 points that go towards your Express Entry profile, or you can apply for PR right away with the PNP. Just explaining a few things for the difference between the PNP portal and the Express Entry stream. Remember, a few things for the BC PNP. Sorry, I forgot to tell you about the language requirements. So when you apply for the international graduate stream, the language requirement is not mandatory, but I would advise you to do it. Why? Because if you do your level of English, you do your English test or French test, then you might be eligible to apply for Express Entry. And usually when you apply for Express Entry, you will link your Express Entry portal with the PNP. So once your nomination is approved, you get 600 points towards your Express Entry. That guarantees you an invitation to apply. And also, because you've been vetted at the provincial level, so that means BC PNP will do all the job to verify your reference letter, to verify that you are eligible, everything. They give you a nomination. Then you apply for permanent residency. And because you've been vetted at the provincial level, then the federal doesn't have a lot to do. Pretty much, they're going to check criminal inadmissibility, medical inadmissibility, and you will get to permanent residency very fast. Usually, the processing time for PNP stream will be around maybe 5 months. Before COVID, I will have approval within 1 or 2 months, but after COVID, I would say at least 5 to 6 months. So it's actually pretty good. I would advise you, if you want to apply under that, to do your language test. Now, the difference between the Express Entry stream and the PNP portal will be just the processing time. For Express Entry, the processing time will be faster. Like I said, the province already vetted you guys, so that means the federal doesn't have a lot to do. If you don't do the English test, so then you're not eligible under Express Entry, you're going to have to apply under the PNP portal. And the processing time can be at least 18 months to 24 months. So there's a difference for you to get the permanent residence. All right. So basically, that's the information that I wanted to give you, because I think that's what you guys will have to think through now that you graduated. Don't forget to apply within the timeline for your post-graduation work permit.